Welcome back. We are still here in the Real Matrix. It's the Angry Patriot, and I've got another special guest along. I know you've seen Dale, but this is a good friend of mine for many years. His name's Greg Avant. If you're local here in Phoenix, maybe you have been to his establishment. Greg runs the Lone Tree Golf Course here in Gilbert, Arizona. Is it Gilbert?
Chandler,
my bad. Chandler, Arizona. It's, let's see, let me get this right. It's right off of Riggs and east of Gilbert?
correct.
Riggs and east of Gilbert. So if you're local, great course, fun course to play, always in great shape. Greg is the ultimate professional golf pro, runs the place, keeps the course in great shape, very reasonably priced, easy to get out there, fun. They got a great restaurant, great place to hang out at the 19th hole after your round. Very friendly staff over there. It's a really good experience if you're a golfer in the Phoenix metropolitan area. And if you're listening to the podcast, maybe nationwide or elsewhere, and you decide to come visit and you're a golfer in Phoenix, remember the Lone Tree Golf Course. Maybe you'll see Greg there and he can tell you all about what's going on in the Matrix if you catch him. Greg, thanks for coming along. Did I catch that all right? Did I miss anything about the Lone Tree Golf Course?
Nash, you're a great ambassador. That was perfect.
Well,
I think we should just do the whole show on Lone Tree like we used to.
Maybe you're right because
I need to see you have more fun. That's what I want.
Well,
from
that
you.
is really true. Usually I do it with Dale, and Dale has told me many times, you know, you're just so serious about this. Dude, do you ever have any fun? Do you ever? Well,
Yeah,
I have fun going golfing. I still do that. I'm still able to take the blue pill sometimes, forget about everything that's going on around me, and get on the golf course and enjoy myself.
And play hockey.
And play hockey and not do it very well at that. Greg's obviously a northerner from Minnesota that grew up with it. Really good player. Had a number of friends end up playing NHL, correct?
Yeah, a lot of guys I played with.
There you go.
Fun stuff.
I was not one of them. I wouldn't even become close to that. Somehow they keep me around because I'm willing to pay to be on the team and show up because the good players, they only show up occasionally.
You gotta have oxygen tanks.
You gotta have what's the word I'm looking? You got fillers to fill up that roster and make sure you got enough guys to play a game. So, Greg, I'm having you along. Actually, he probably called you out of the blue talking about this. We've been hanging out for years and years and years, and I get on my soapbox about what's going on here, what's going on there. We just had the conversation before we got on the air about the fact that before COVID hit, did I ever bring up politics, anything outside of just shooting? I didn't have any hangups.
No, I think that I think that's true for a lot of us.
Right.
I think that number one, you had a lot more time when COVID was going around.
Correct.
And but no, you're right. We never talked politics when we were playing hockey or golf, and
I don't even know if this is really politics, but
sure,
but it's life.
We talked about family and stuff like that more than and golf and everything. But I think that when you're exposed to everything that's going on, that's when we all started talking. And as I say to you, like you're the loudest guy in the room, so we're going to listen to you.
Well,
But I mean that's not a rip. But that my point is, like, the one thing I love about you, Dave, is you bring stuff up and you make people think, and we refute it or argue with you or whatever. And the best thing is when we're done, not a big deal.
Yeah,
you don't walk away from somebody and say, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You just say, you know what, I'm going to go try to look at that. And that's why you have such a good group of friends that we all play hockey and golf with.
So that's really what the show's about. And hopefully I'm conveying that same thing to you listeners out there, whether it be podcasted or right here on the Real Matrix and Robat TV. This is information that I went down the rabbit hole for in regards to when COVID hit, as we were just saying. Before COVID hit, nothing. But when COVID hit, it was a case of you need to get a vaccination that You don't know what's in it. It's experimental. It just came out of nowhere, allegedly. And we're going to do shows later that shows that they've been working on this for years and years and years. But the message we were told is you're gonna have to get this vaccination, or as they said then, if you remember back, and we all forget stuff. We don't remember how much our freedoms were taken away. But if they were saying if you didn't get vaccinated, you couldn't go shopping and get groceries. If you were vaccinated, you couldn't go to the football game. You had to show your vaccination.
You couldn't go to an Eagles concert in downtown Phoenix.
That was yes. Yeah. You could go, and they were taking away our freedoms if we didn't get a shot, get a vaccination, which in my estimation at that time, I thought vaccinations are supposed to protect the person that's vaccinated. So if you're fearful and you don't want to get or afraid of this COVID or whatever the next thing is that comes along, if you're afraid of that, then you get vaccinated so you don't have to worry. I'm not worried. I got no problems. To me, from the get-go, it's all a scam. So what's the point? I wasn't afraid of that, and I realized what they were doing is they were using fear to kind of corral us and say, if you don't do this, you'll lose your freedoms that we just talked about. And they've been using this again, and we'll go back to the conversations we've had in the last shows in regards to 9/11. They used 9/11 to make us fearful, to be feared of terrorists, bombings, stuff like that. And they used it to pass a number of different laws to take our freedoms away. The Patriot Act is anything but patriotic. It's a case where now what that law does is allow the government to surveil us at any time, 24/7, without our knowledge. And if we are saying anything that they don't approve of, we can be considered domestic terrorists. And now we become on watch lists. We won't be able. We might be prosecuted for doing something that should be our right as an American citizen. And you're seeing it now. They're generally everything they're doing in America right now is to either make us fearful or ruin America, so that we say, "Hey, government, become stronger. Get a stronger police force. Get a stronger stronger people to make sure we're safe." Everything's about fear. Everything's about fear. And, it works. I mean, who wants to have a lot of crime? Who wants to live in an area where you might fear for your safety? But who's doing it? Who's behind it? Because if they want to control you, they might be behind it. And that's really, we're going to, we talked a lot about 9/11. We're going to try to put this to bed today. And I brought Greg in because very smart guy, and wanted to get his take on some of this stuff. In regards to the fact that what happened in 9/11, we were told it was terrorist. We were told the buildings came down because of fire. We were told an airplane hit the Pentagon. We were told an airplane crashed in the Pennsylvania farm field. And as I showed you in those shows before this, that all of that information seems far-fetched, seems inaccurate. At least the information I got. I challenge anyone to say, I want you to give me a take on it, listeners, viewers, if I'm wrong, or if what I'm showing you doesn't make sense. And so we're going to go over that a little bit. Let me go over a little bit of what we've seen in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, however many shows. I've lost track. I don't even know. But it all started with COVID. Didn't make sense. And then it brought me to the rabbit hole of 9/11. Sometimes this doesn't really make sense. And I don't know how much you know, Greg, but chime in at any time in regards to that, in regards to the fact that one of the keys to me that didn't make sense is on 9/11, 3 buildings came down, and our government, who was investigating it, or put NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, they put them in charge of the investigation to find out the causes of what happened and how it happened, whatever it may be. And what they told us is it came down by fire. It would be the first 3 buildings in the history of man that came down because of fire. Metal skyscrapers. The first 3 metal skyscrapers to ever come down because of fire. And that was their reasoning. And they didn't even, we talked to Dale, who said, well, was it the airplanes? Well, they didn't say it was the airplanes that brought it down. The buildings were designed to have a 707 hit it. And the person in charge of the design of the building said it was probably okay if multiple planes hit those buildings. You would have a fire and you would have damage, but the building wouldn't collapse because there's so much structural integrity in the innards of the building. I went over the numbers. I mean, there's 250,000 tons of steel and so many cubic feet of cement. How's that going to collapse? And if it does collapse, how would it collapse coming down at free fall speed? When you look at the tape, 100+ floor towers came down in a little over 10 seconds. Wouldn't there be something along the line that would say there's going to stop the fall of these buildings? And really the key then comes down to, and I don't know how much you know, Greg, about the fact that Building 7, a 48-floor building, that was highly fortified and was the home of CIA, Homeland Security. It was the emergency headquarters for the city of New York. That building, how does that come down when it was not hit by an airplane and it was not have any great fires in it?
So, when you asked me to do this, Dave,
yes,
I said, hey, I've always enjoyed doing stuff with you.
Sure.
And usually it's sports. Usually it's not something like this.
Right.
And I said, you know what? But again, I give you the credit. Say, okay, well, it's going to make me do a little research, do a little thinking.
Good.
And so I said yes. And unique perspective. I was in New York City a week before this happened.
Amazing.
And we were at the
Good
top.
thing it was a week before.
Yeah. And I've told the story 100 times. We were out. Our last night we were out and my buddy got pickpocketed.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to the airport the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
You get on the plane, no problem.
Right.
No ID, no credit card, just get on the plane and you go home. All that changed that whole week. But, when you start talking about, and I had never looked into this stuff, you followed the whole Bin Laden deal and everything that happened and you're right. I trust the government to go get the guy. It took 10 years for them to get him.
And did they?
Well, yeah. I mean,
and
it sure looks like it. Sure looks like it. But so I did. So I did some research. So I watched a little bit of that, and I watched the cameras of him and everything. And you're right. You can, as we talked about, you can find whatever you want, depending on how you're looking. Mm-hmm. So I don't have any. We joked you, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist, and I don't think you're crazy or anything. And I love hearing, but I also said what you challenged me, not me, but all of us, is you got to be a critical thinker. You got to do your own research. You got to come up with conclusions, and you have to look at both sides of things. And that's just the same as when you're talking with your kids these days, and you tell them, don't watch CNN only. Don't watch Fox only. Try to find something that's
don't watch any of them,
or do that.
They're all
right?
criminal.
Yeah, but it was funny. So then I looked into that, and I was telling you I did some research on WT7 because we literally stayed right next to that the week before. We were right there, and it was very funny. So I tried to get both sides and see that and. The last thing I came up with was there was a gentleman, and this one made the most sense to me. He says, here's why it happened, and showed how the penthouse came down. And that fire was burning for 7 hours before it all came down. And so he went on to say, and then they showed the interviews of the firemen saying, hey, you know what, this is going to go down. We're not going to fight it. And it was total chaos in that city. I mean, it was hard to make any decisions right. at that time. But it was kind of amazing listening to him say, hey, we're going to let it burn out. It's going to come down. It's going to fall. So then you find the other side and people say, no, that's not possible. But the one thing that I thought was really telling or interesting is the guy was saying, hey, this is how it happened. And this is why it basically 7-hour fire and everything. And he said, I also got, because you heard the demolition and all this. And he says, there's video of windows being blown out in the middle of the building and this and that. And the guy says, well, what about this? And you know what he said? I made that video. And then on that video, he also had a UFO up top of it. So you've heard all that.
I've seen that.
Yeah, right? So, I mean, my point is that you can go find whatever you're looking for. You have to weed it out. And that's where we always challenge you. And that's why I enjoy listening to the things. I
think you make a great point, and I've seen all that, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Obviously, let's take it from the other viewpoint. Yeah, if our government or the world elite or these maniacs that want to control the world were behind this, the military-industrial complex, whoever you want to say is behind this, because it's not, you can't just point at one person. It's just, it's secretive. And if we knew, we'd go get them. But if they're behind this and they did this, and they had the wherewithal to do it, they also have the wherewithal to start websites, TikToks, videos, whatever, disputing the facts of what we're showing you here. When he said, I did that video, those videos were from the news way back when.
Yeah.
He didn't change that. Those were the way it is. He put on a UFO on top. And you can, the weird thing and the scary thing that we need to be aware of, and again, why we are in the real matrix, is with AI now,
you can make anything.
You can make anything. I've seen videos of, like, I think they made of Trump, like, talking, and it sounds like Trump.
Yeah.
Looks like him, sounds like him. You can make a video of anyone saying anything, any crazy things, and you can't tell the difference. When you can't tell the difference between a video and reality, we're in trouble. That's a dangerous position to be in. Again, my worry is, and I worry for anyone who's a truth speaker, that if you make enough noise and you make points that are against the narrative of these globalist criminals or people in the government that have an agenda, and you fight them enough, what's to stop them from setting you up with a AI video doing some child porn or whatever? I mean, we're in just a dastardly situation.
Well, the other thing that goes with you, Dave, is since COVID too, your level of paranoia has gone up.
Sure has. No doubt about it.
Yeah, right. Like, and kind of like what you said, you've always heard that, people have to decide every day everything they do, right? But you have to decide whether you're going to live in fear, whether you're going to, like you said, go down the rabbit holes you want, I think the real challenge is to find the things that really matter to you and your family, right? Mm-hmm. And then let's explore those that are going to make your little square mile better. And that's kind of how I live my life. I try to do it that way. But that doesn't discount anything, and that's why I like hearing different perspectives and also hearing different hypotheses on different things so that you can actually do the research and start learning for yourself instead of being a sheep and following and say, oh, well, I got to go to this rally here, I got to do this, or I got to buy that or whatever. And to me, that's kind of the most important exercise out of all of this.
So one of the worries I have about that, or what I'll give you alternative positions. When you say make your family and be what's important for you and your family, and what about your future? If what I'm seeing is happening, and I'm trying to convey that here, is that if they're trying to take away our freedoms using digital currency, CBCDs, that basically, and we'll get to this in other shows, but when you start having that, they're trying to do away with cash. So you'll only have credits, and digital currency will be a credit, and it's programmable. So if you're doing something that they don't want you to do, let's say you're heavy, let's say you're overweight, and they feel you're eating too much junk food, you won't be able to spend your CBCDs, your digital money, on junk food. Let's say
I'd sign up for that program.
Well, or Greg being working at a golf course, what if they say, you spend too much time golfing. You should be working. You should be more productive for society. You can't golf that much anymore. They're trying to take that away right now.
I'm not signing up for that.
I get that. Yeah. But they're trying to take that away right now. In Phoenix, they're trying to do away with the amount of water golf courses can use. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, I mean, no, you're not wrong. That's been ongoing forever with the water shortages and everything. And
is there water shortage?
There is sometimes, and sometimes there isn't. But you have a couple of good years in Colorado with water and mountain. It's funny how the drought is over. You're done talking about it.
Well, the other thing is, I don't know if you or people realize out there that there is the capability to have desalination plants in California. So see, we're giving away a lot of water because California is sucking up more of it down the what river is it? Colorado or Colorado River. All right, so California is sucking up a lot of water, and they could build desalination plants all up and down the coast to have more water than you would ever know, fresh water, than you would ever know what to do with. They don't want them built. Why? I'll get into this in other shows. We've talked about it. They don't want more people. If you have clean, affordable water, and if you have clean, affordable power, electricity, whatever, you will have prosperity. And with prosperity comes more people. And they don't want more people. So the whole thing about we're running out of water is nonsensical. The ability now, technology to build desalination plants all along the ocean, you could flood America with that water. Could flood it. So then we wouldn't have to give as much water to California. And it could come here. And we would be fine here in the desert. We would never run out of water. They could pump water here.
You're right, and that's as a in the golf world. We've looked at all that. Why can't we build the tributaries and get water from other parts of the country? And everywhere you go, it's money, it's challenge, and everything. But you're right. The things are possible.
If you haven't noticed, do you realize how much money we have wasted in our government? We'll get to USAID and all the waste of money going to Ukraine. We'll get to that. You could have took just all that money and built desalination plants all over the world. So that's not an argument that we don't have the money for that. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, there are private companies that will build the desalination plants, and then they'll charge you for the water. And the more you have, the cheaper it gets, and the more abundance you have.
It's not an argument, and then all of a sudden, when you say, well, we'll have to tax you for it, then becomes an argument.
They're already taxing us over everything. It's outrageous. I mean, and if you haven't seen the waste that DOGE has found in our government, it goes on and on and on. Most of our taxes are just used as money laundering to these elites that run everything. And when I say the elites, really it comes down to a lot of the corporations. It's a corporation thing. You would agree that whoever owns the most of your company Whoever whoever has the most money, whoever's supporting the company, they make the rules. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes, they make the rules. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, those those investment firms, they are the largest shareholders in almost all the companies in America, all the companies worldwide. So if they are the biggest shareholder, what they say kind of goes, because if they pull their stocks, those companies are in dire trouble. So that's who runs everything. And BlackRock's actually been called the fourth arm of the government. There's videos that we've shown in the past that show that by, I think, 2028 or at very least 2030, BlackRock and Vanguard will have so much control that they'll control in the trillions of businesses and corporations that they basically will run everything. It's not, and we showed in a previous show that the shareholders of Coke and Pepsi are basically the same shareholders. So they don't care if you buy Coke, they don't care if you buy Pepsi, they don't care if you buy whatever.
That's what you buy.
They own all the soda places. So they don't care. And it's the same thing with the beer companies. We talked about that. The transvestite or trans Muldaney about Bud Light beer. And people didn't drink Bud Light or they boycotted it. And these investment firms who own Bud Light or Budweiser, they don't care because they own all the other beers you're going to drink. It's not like you're going to stop drinking beer. And if you stop drinking beer, you're going to drink soda, and they own that. And if you stop drinking soda, they're going to drink bottled water, and they own that. They own it all. Doesn't matter where what you do in regards to boycotts, unless it's a small individual company, like someone who owns a small golf course. Now in the golf world, as you would say, there's conglomerates that own a number of different courses. So individual owners are getting gobbled up.
Yeah,
and then
it's definitely more difficult.
It's called a monopoly.
Yeah.
It used to be illegal to have a monopoly. Yeah. Now that's all they have is monopolies. Yeah. That's it. Doesn't matter. I tell you what, as fast as that went, I apologize. We got about 1,000 video clips to play, but heck, we'll just yap the first hour. So, or excuse me, first half hour. But we'll take a break. Our great sponsors who are putting us on here, and we'll be back with more of the Real Matrix after this. Holy shit. Want to make your love life sizzle like a Phoenix summer? Summit Male Medical guarantees to help you with ED or premature issues, or we won't charge you. We've helped tens of thousands of patients here in the Valley since 2008. Please compare our most experienced medical staff and low-price treatments to anybody. If you've talked to the rest, it's time to come to the best. Put the sizzle back in your love life. 480-398-1000 or go to summitmalemedical.com. Summit Medical, love for life.